Okay, so here's something interesting that's been happening in the off-road world that I think you might like to know about. We all know that Land Rover killed off the original Defender in 2016, and a lot of diehard fans felt completely abandoned. Some of them jumped ship to the INEOS Grenadier when it came out, but now Land Rover is desperately trying to win them back with the classic Defender V8 program. And honestly, the whole situation is rather fascinating. Hi, it's Josh, and today we're diving into this automotive chess match, including why you can't actually buy one of these classic Defenders if you live in the US, but that might not surprise you. So let me set the stage. January 29th, 2016. That's the day Land Rover rolled the very last original Defender off the production line after 67 years. 67 years. Think about that for a second. This vehicle has been in continuous production since the 1948, and suddenly it was gone. Now, why did they kill it? Here's the thing. It wasn't because people stopped wanting them. The reality is, it became prohibitively expensive to update the Defender to meet modern safety and emission standards. We're talking about pedestrian protection requirements, airbag regulations, emission standards that were getting stricter every year. The Defender's design was so fundamentally rooted in the 1970s that bringing it up to modern standards would have cost a fortune. And here's where it's crazy. Some of the 2012 to 2016 models were still using parts from the 1970s. I mean, that's both impressive and terrifying at the same time, right? Land Rover looked at the numbers and said, you know what? It's just not economically viable anymore. But here's where it gets interesting. When Land Rover discontinued the Defender, they left a massive hole in the market. All these hardcore off-road enthusiasts, farmers, adventurers, and people who genuinely needed a no-nonsense go-anywhere vehicle suddenly had nowhere to turn. Sure, Land Rover came out with a new Defender in 2020, but let's be honest, it's a completely different animal. It's more Range Rover than original Defender. Enter INEOS and the Grenadier. Now, I've got to give credit where it's due. Sir Jim Ratcliffe saw this opportunity and he went for it. He basically said, hey, remember the simple rugged utilitarian vehicle that Land Rover abandoned? We're going to build that. And you know what? It worked. In 2024, INEOS sold over 8,000 Grenadiers in North America alone, with just 18 sales points. Now, that's impressive for a brand new company going up against established players. The Grenadier isn't trying to be fancy. It's got a BMW source engine, which is solid, a 12.3-inch touchscreen because, it's 2024. But fundamentally, it's designed to be an honest, capable off-roader that the original Defender was. And a lot of former Defender owners took notice. And here's where Land Rover started to panic a little bit. They're watching their former customers, people who have been loyal to the brand for decades, walking away and buying Grenadiers. And that's when Land Rover Classic stepped in with their Defender V8 program. Let me tell you about this program because it's actually pretty brilliant, even if it's also kind of desperate. Land Rover Classic takes 2012 to 2016 Defenders, the last of the original generation, and completely rebuilds them from the ground up. We're not talking about simple restoration here. They strip these vehicles down to nothing and then rebuild them with modern components. The heart of the program is this 5.0-liter supercharged V8 that produces 405 horsepower and 515 newton meters of torque. Compare that to the original V8 Defenders from the 1980s that made an embarrassing 90 horsepower, and you can see why this is appealing. They pair it with the 8-speed ZF transmission, upgrade the brakes with high-performance Alcon calipers, install Eibach coil springs and Bilstein shock absorbers, and add the modern safety features like dynamic stability control. But here's where it gets really interesting. This is where you can see Land Rover's strategy clearly. They're now offering paint and interior options to match the new Defender Octa. The Octa is Land Rover's flagship high-performance Defender with 626 horsepower, and it starts around $158,000. But if you want a classic Defender V8 with matching paint and interior, well, that'll be 190,000 pounds, which is about $254,000. Think about that for a second. They're charging more for a rebuilt Defender than they are for a brand new flagship model. That's either genius or completely insane, and I'm honestly not sure which. The customization options are pretty extensive. You can get colors like Petra Copper, Pharaoh Green, Sargasso Blue, all exclusive Octa colors. The paint process alone takes 300 hours per vehicle. Inside you can get lightweight ultra fabrics in various colors, semi-aniline leather and hand-trimmed Recaro sports seats. They'll even match your steering wheel, transfer case levers, headliner, basically anything you want. And here's what Land Rover Classic director Dominic Elms said, and I think this quote is telling. This expanded customization program is a response to customers wanting their classic Defenders to match their new Defender Octa visually. In other words, they're trying to create a perfect two-car garage scenario where you have the modern Octa for daily driving and the classic V8 for, well, having the real Defender experience. But here's the catch, and this is where it gets frustrating if you live in the United States. You can't buy one at all. The classic Defender V8 is not available in the US market for the reason that it's actually pretty straightforward but annoying. The donor vehicles that they use are from 2012 to 2016, which means that they don't qualify for the 25-year import rule that would allow them to be legally imported into the US. And the US stopped selling Defenders back in 1997 because they stopped meeting the increased regulations and safety standards at the time. So while Land Rover is desperately trying to win back customers from INEOS in markets like the UK and Europe, American customers who might want a classic Defender V8 are completely out of luck. Unless you want to wait until 2037 when the 2012 models become 25 years old, you're not getting one. This creates a weird situation where American off-road enthusiasts who want something closer to the original Defender experience look at alternatives like the INEOS Grenadier, which is available here, or go the custom route with companies like ECD Auto Designs that do their own Defender resto mods. So what's really happening here? I think Land Rover is realizing that they made a strategic mistake. When they discontinued the original Defender, they assumed everyone would just move on to their other products and wait for the new Defender. But what they didn't account for was how passionate the original Defender community was and how willing they were to look elsewhere for that authentic experience. The INEOS Grenadier has proven that there is still a market for that simple, honest, go-anywhere vehicle, and now Land Rover is trying to have it both ways. They want to sell you the modern, luxurious new Defender, but they also want to sell you a $250,000 version of the old one. Is it working? Well, the fact that they're still making the classic Defender V8 suggests that there is demand, but at $254,000, you're talking about a very exclusive market. For context, that's Porsche 911 GT3 RS money. You could buy a brand new Defender Octa and still have $100,000 left over. But here's the thing, for the right buyer, someone who's got that emotional connection to the original Defender and the budget to match, this program probably makes perfect sense. You're getting the authentic Defender experience with more reliability and performance. It's just not accessible to most people. And the real question is whether the strategy will actually win back customers from INEOS long term, or if it's just a premium offering for collectors and enthusiasts. My guess? Probably a bit of both. But the volume play is still going to be with vehicles like the Grenadier that offer authentic experience and more reasonable price point. What do you think? Is the Land Rover Classic Defender V8 program a brilliant way to serve enthusiasts, or is it just an expensive attempt to fix a strategic mistake? And if you're in the US, are you frustrated that you can't get one? Or do you think that INEOS Grenadier is a better option anyway? Let me know in the comments below. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.